After being forced into a marriage she hadn't wanted, Natsui developed a grudge against the Ushiromiya family and was filled with a desire for revenge. From the trial synopsis, page 3. Natsui, also hoping to take revenge for the financial submission her parents' family had been forced into by the Ushiromiyas, schemed to capture the Ushiromiya family's wealth. From the trial synopsis, page 4. Knowing that the wealth of the Ushiromiya family was, in practical terms, under Kinzo's personal control, she initiated sexual relations to curry favor with him and managed to ensnare him. From the trial synopsis, page 7, and the Bernkastel docs, page 682. To curry favor with Kinzo, Natsui repeatedly imitated Beatrice, the witch of Kinzo's delusions, and engaged in sexual acts. Kinzo saw his long-lost mistress in Natsui and was easily ensnared. Furthermore, by chance, she was sometimes witnessed in disguise by the servants, and this became part of the foundation for the legend of the witch. From the trial synopsis, page 8, presented evidence number 17, and the Bernkastel docs, page 802. Apparently Bernkastel has a lot of time on her hands, just writing the fan fiction with burning fingertips. However, late at night on October 4th, 1986, Ushiromiya Battler discovered a hidden gold. The relatives were in an uproar and decided that Battler should succeed the headship, so Natsui planned the crime. She murdered the children in a so-called cousin room and tried to frame Battler for the crime. Furthermore, Genji was murdered for opposing the scheme. Later on, Hideyoshi was also murdered. From this point on, she displayed the strong intent to indiscriminately murder all those involved. From the trial synopsis, page 27, supplemental materials B, page 61, Bernkastel docs, page 1103. The following outlines the details of the crime. Midnight, October 4th, 1986. Natsui decided to commit the crime. She asked Genji to assist her, but was refused, so she murdered him. She then murdered her husband Kraus in his own room. From the trial synopsis, page 40, supplemental materials S, page 8, Bernkastel docs, page 1105, GC internal docs, general affairs A099974. Afterwards, she went to the so-called cousin room on the second floor of the guest house, waited for Rosa to join the rest, and killed George, Jessica, Maria, and Rosa. She damaged the necks of those corpses. Afterwards, because there were people in the lounge on the first floor, she waited in an empty room on the second floor. She hid in this empty room until the people in the lounge dispersed and went to bed. From the trial synopsis, page 41, supplemental materials S, page 10, Bernkastel docs, page 1131, GC internal docs, general affairs A099974. The people in the lounge dispersed just after 3 AM. Natsui left the empty room and escaped from the guest house. She returned to her personal room, where she met up with Kinzo, who had been hiding there. She stayed there until morning, engaging in sexual acts, I presume. Kinzo left the room early next morning and concealed himself somewhere near the guest house. During the rainstorm and typhoon, if you can remember. Trial synopsis, page 41, supplemental material S, page 29, Bernkastel docs, page 1200 exactly, and the GC internal docs, general affairs A099974. Afterwards, Kinzo saw his chance and carried off the corpses of the 6 victims one by one, hiding them. Wait a second, why is he helping her again? If this is a big fucking scheme to get his money? Well, whatever. Unfortunately, these hidden corpses have not been found. From the trial synopsis, page 42, page 37, and so on. I'm not gonna read them every time, Jesus Christ. Natsui had failed in his scheme to cast suspicion on Battler, changed the plan to include the murder of all present. Predicting that one of those present would eventually want to take a rest in a private room, Natsui concealed herself inside a closet in one of the guest rooms. What a coincidence! Hideyoshi chose this room. At about 1 PM she murdered Hideyoshi after he entered that room. Really lucky, eh? From the time the others became aware of the incident to the time that they carried Hideyoshi's corpse out, Natsui once again concealed herself in the closet. Furthermore, as proof of this, a button from Natsui's clothes was found in the closet. Afterwards, she left the closet and tried to return to her room. However, Furudo Erika found and questioned her first, and she confessed to the crime. Did she? Well, I guess she did, if you just write it like that. Oh, look at this! It's the Lambda Delta docs. Finally, my own fanfiction is coming into play. It's gonna get juicy in a second, believe me. Erika is gonna interrogate Natsui. GC official notice 172 4434. Due to the result of illusion trial 147007982 midnight October 5th 1986, we announced that the following has been determined: that Ushiromiya Natsui did admit to a crime. For 13 months following this announcement, related docs may be perused at the Great Court Legal Office's Document Management Center, first subsection. Great Court Deputy Chief, Head Inquisitor of Heresy, Leonard A. Knox. By the way, I don't know if my game is or was bugged, by the way, since I'm playing this on my new computer and we didn't have a lot of background for the segment just now. But since the background is back now, I feel better. I feel like I installed it correctly again. As though she'd given up and decided that it would be useless to try and talk her way out of this any longer, Aunt Natsui screamed that out. It was a sad incident. I wanted to believe that, despite the pitiable circumstances that led to her marriage into the Ushiromiya family, Natsui just might have been able to grasp a sliver of happiness together with Uncle Kraus and Jessica. However, by Aunt Natsui's own doing, Uncle Kraus, and even her beloved daughter Jessica, had been heartlessly killed. It was even harder to believe that grandfather had been an accomplice and hid the corpses. However, judging by the clear testimony given by several people who knew him, I wouldn't put it past Kinzo. Grandfather's mental state for these last few years has been far from what anyone would consider normal. Damn, imagine being one of the servants like Kanon and Shannon and going into that and saying, oh yeah, I believe Kinzo's still alive and he carried off the corpses, even though you fucking know he's dead. Perhaps possessed by a mad devotion to the mistress he had lost long ago, Grandfather might truly have believed that Aunt Natsui was a reincarnation of Beatrice. Where's Grandfather now? Like Erika had theorized, did he really believe that he could revive Beatrice by carrying out murders following the epitaph? Succumbing to Natsui's cajolery? Right now, is he holding some kind of disturbing ceremony with the bodies he carried away? Oof.
これで満足ですか？私にこう言わせたかったんでしょう。
Aunt Natsui sobbed as she spoke.
これがあなたの復讐19年前の男。
This man from 19 years ago that Aunt Natsui kept mentioning was supposedly someone who had caught her in some sort of trap. However, she had only mentioned that this man from 19 years ago existed, and she most certainly hadn't tried to explain what had happened 19 years ago.
きっとこの中にあの男の手先が混じっているはずです。
Yeah, he is among us.
あの男はあなたたちの誰かを通じて今のこの私を嘲笑っているでしょう。なら伝えなさい。これだ。19年間あなたを災難だ痛みと苦しみは少しは言えましたか？ようやく私をここまで追い詰めたのはそれを認めさせたかったからですね。
夏日さん、私たち以外に部外者は一切存在しません。意もしない人物がさも存在するように振る舞うなんて、往生際の悪い芝居はやめてください。
Bold words for someone like being the underling of a cat witch thing. Erika laughed mockingly, but as Aunt Natsu looked at us, no, as she looked at some being behind us, she hung her head and shook. Then she confessed to her sin. What?
私は殺人を犯しました。
やっと直接的な言葉で罪を認めましたね。
いいえ、昨日今日の事件のことではありません。19年前の殺人について告白します。
I hope the sound levels are fine, by the way, since I haven't really checked that yet. The adults all whispered together, wondering what this was about, because they had never heard about the murder case 19 years ago.
今から19年前、私は罪を犯しました。許せなかったのです。その赤ん坊が。
赤ん坊？今さら何の話ですか
？19年前のあの日、私はお父様より一人の赤ん坊を託されました。いつまでも跡継ぎを見守ることのできない私に、ならば養子を迎えよとお父様がおっしゃり、施設から連れてきたという一人の赤ん坊を私に抱かせたのです。それが私にどれほど女としての屈辱を与えたか想像がつきますか？
With a mix of conflicting emotions of anger, sadness, regret, and possibly defiance, Aunt Natsui confessed. Her humiliation as a woman when she was no longer expected to bear a child, and also the indescribably unpleasant feeling of being made to hold an unfamiliar baby. It caused her great sadness and rage, and before very many nights passed, it ate a hole into her heart.
そして私は心を悪魔に売り渡したのです。赤ん坊を抱かせた使用人と共にバラ庭園から船着き場の方へ散歩に行った時でした。私は一人になりたかったのです。赤ん坊を連れたその使用人の女は律儀に私の後について回りました。一人にしてくれとさえ言い出せず、だから赤ん坊の泣き声から逃れられず、その日より19年間、私を苛む長き頭痛の日々の始まりにうめいていました。そして昨夜崖を望むはるか眼下の岩浜に、この赤ん坊を放り捨てることで全てなかったことにできれば、そんな悪魔の誘惑を私は確かに聞きました。そしてそれが本当にできたらどれほど素晴らしいかと、その誘惑にほんの一瞬耳を。その時赤ん坊を抱いた使用人が大きな石を踏んで足をくじよろめいた。そして粗末な柵に寄りかかり、その時柵が大きくきしんだ気がした。私は危ないと言いながら肩をつかもうとしました。いいえ、そんな曖昧な言い方はしません。懺悔します。告白します。私はあの時確かに危ないと言いながらその使用人の肩を両手でどうか強く 押し飛ばしたのです。粗末な策は根元から折れ、使用人とその手に抱かれた赤ん坊と一緒に眼下の岩浜へ転落していきました。その瞬間のこと、鮮明に覚えているのに、なのになぜか曖昧で、とても不思議な気持ちだったので覚えています。転落したというより、まるで何もない宙に2人が音もなく飲み込まれて消えたようにさえ感じたのです。だから私は2人が岩浜に落下した音さえ聞いています。いえ、きっと聞いているのです。でも消えたと思い込みたかったから、その聞いた音をきっと記憶から消し去ってしまったのです。
それから
私は一瞬これが夢だと信じました。あの高さですから、ちょっと身を乗り出したくらいでは眼下の2人は見えません。だから2人が落ちたことさえ、ほんの数秒前のことさえ現実のことなのかわからなくて、きっと私はここから赤ん坊が落ちればいいのにと願いすぎて白昼夢を見てしまったに違いない。そう自らに思い込ませ、足早にバラ庭園に戻り、赤ん坊は使用人に任せ、私は一人ここで休んでいたことにしました。そしてお父様に赤ん坊はどうしたのかと問われ、任せた使用人の姿が見えないと騒ぎになって、
Eventually, the broken fence was discovered, and 2 corpses were found at the bottom of the cliff. The child had apparently been here for reasons that couldn't become known, so its existence was hushed up. And the official story was that the servant had had an accident on her own and died.
そう、私は一度に2人も罪なき命を奪ったのです。気の毒な使用人については遺族に十分なねぎらいをしました。真相を知らない老いた夫は不幸な事故を嘆きつつもそれに納得してくれました。そしてほんの数年前、老衰で亡くなり、私は墓前で真相を告白し謝罪しました。しかし私はあの赤ん坊に謝罪したことはありません。それがあなたの目的でしょう。だから私は今ここで、後宮夏日は19年前にあなたを崖から突き落として殺そうとしました。でもあなたは死んでいなかったのですね。こうして生きていた。それでも私を母さんと呼び、この島へ帰ってきて、こうして復讐をされたのですね。あなたはこの19年間、母と呼ぶはずだった私に突き落とされたことを知って、どれほどの憎悪の人生を送ったのでしょうね。そしてあなたは、私があなたを突き落としてから得た18年間の人生をこうしてすべて、もう私には愛した夫も娘もいません。そして私には名誉もなく、こうして人殺し呼ばわりされて、いえ、 本当に人殺しですものね。ええ、そうです。あなたの目論見通り、私は今やどうですか？復讐にはこれで十分ですか？夫と娘を殺され、人殺しの汚名を着せられ、不貞の汚名まで、こうして生き恥をかかされる私を見て、あなたは満足ですか？さぞや満足でしょうね。私、家族、名誉も全て奪い去ったのですか？
この後に及んでまだ濡れ衣だと言い張るんですか？まったく、あなたは本当に往生際の悪い。
聞こえていますか？19年前の呪われた赤ん坊、これで満足ですか？あなたは私から全てを奪いました。まだ何か足りないというのですか？私は許した。
ダメだな。
バトラさん、何か言いました？
全然ダメだぜ。
バトラ君？
ああ、ダメだな。全然ダメだぜ。
I love this. This is possibly one of my favorite moments in all episodes. This whole fucking build-up with her confessing and Battler saying that. That's why I love episode 5. It's all about this. There's a lot of boring stuff going on, and it drags out a little, but it's all worth it for this one moment. And look at all these dead people. Did I usually read them out? I can't remember. It's been a while since I last finished an episode. All of the goats. Here we go, that's you. It's everyone watching. You're all goats now. 5th game. End of the Golden Witch. obviously we're not really done with episode 5 yet. There's still the tea party and the witch's tea party. But that will be next episode. I usually don't do outros for these, right? Bye.